Hello students, today I will discuss about propositional logic. In this, I will cover techniques of knowledge representation, logical representation, propositional logic, propositional logic example, and limitations. Now, there are four ways to represent any knowledge. First is logical representation, second is semantic network representation, third is frame representation, and fourth is protection rules. Logical representation. It is a language with some concrete rules which deals with propositions and has no ambiguity in representation. Then it consists of precisely defined syntax and semantics which support sound inference. Syntax are basically, as we know that whatever language we are defining, the language has two parts, syntax and semantics. Syntax basically defines the structure of the language. That means it defines well-formed sentences in the language. So basically in syntax we are dealing with the structure. For example, as we do programming in C, so C programming is already having its well-defined structure that we have to follow. Now about semantics. Semantics means meaning. It defines the truth or meaning of the sentence in the world. Each sentence can be translated in logics using syntax and semantics. Now, as we speak about logical representation, in logical representation, the sentences can be represented by using two ways. First is by using propositional logic, and second is by using predicate logic. Propositional logic is also called as propositional calculus, and predicate logic is also called as predicate calculus or first order predicate logic. Now, in propositional logic, the formulation of sentence is very simple. That means propositional logic is the simplest logic. A proposition or sentence is classified as declarative sentence whose value is either true or false. The word sentences you are formulating or you are describing using propositional logic, the sentence meaning could be either it could be true or it could be false. For example, New Delhi is the capital of India. This statement is true. Now, square root of 14 is 2. Now we know that the square root of 14 is not 2, it is something else. So this statement is false. But the problem with propositional logic is that for example, if we are having some sentences like some girls are intelligent. Now this statement cannot be classified as true or false. So this sentence cannot be described using propositional logic, and such sentences are basically they are the assertions, so we cannot assign true or false with it. Similarly, no thank you is a sentence which cannot be assigned with a value true or with a value false. Now, the sentences formulated using propositional logic, they can be atomic sentence or they can be molecular sentence. Atomic sentences are sentences which are formed using a single sentence, while in case of compound or complex sentences, they are combined using more than two sentences or more than two propositions. Proposition means the sentence. Compound Propositions are formed by combining two or more atomic propositions. Now, whenever you are defining the sentences using propositional logic, you have to follow some type of notations that we called as atomic symbols. Whatever sentences we are defining, we are representing those sentences using PQR like alphabets, and these sentences are defined or formulated using logical connectives. Now, logical connectives are basically, it can be they are consist of various notations like not, the representation is this, not represents the negation, then and, it represents the conjunction, or it represents disjunction. Then sentences like if then, that means implies, they are defined by using this sign. And some sentences like if and only if, these are the bidirectional sentences, bidirectional statements, and basically these statements are defined using this sign. Now here is the truth table uh, by which we can combine the sentences using logical connectives. If I speak about not, then if the sentence is represented by using P, then the not of false is true, the not of true is false. Similarly, if both statements are false, then their conjunction is all false. If one statement is false, another statement is true, then definitely the conjunction is false. Similarly, in case of disjunction, if both the statements are false, then the result is false, otherwise the result is true. Similarly, we can define other conjunction, other logical connectives also. Now here is one example of propositional logic. For example, there is a sentence like it is hot, and I have represented this sentence using P. Similarly, it is humid by using Q, and it is raining by using R. Now if I want to define the statement like if it is hot and humid, then it is raining. So if I want to define this sentence using propositional logic, it is defined as P and Q, which implies R, because P defines it is hot, then we are having and, for that we are using this sign. Then it is humid, we are representing it is humid as Q, and finally if it is hot and humid, then, and for this we are having another logical connective, that is the arrow sign. And it is raining, and it is raining is represented by using R. So P and Q, it if this statement is true, then R, that means it is raining. Similarly, if it is humid, then it is hot. So basically this sentence is represented using as Q, then the logical connective, and P. If we are representing it is humid, then this statement is already represented by using the symbol. Now the representation of any sentence using propositional logic is very simple. So this representation has some limitation. We cannot represent relations like all, some, and none with propositional logic. For example, all the girls are intelligent. So this statement cannot be represented by using propositional logic, because we are not having any structure for all. Or some apples are sweet, so we are not having how to represent some. So this is the limitation of propositional logic. Propositional logic has limited expressive power. In propositional logic, we cannot describe statements in terms of their properties or logical relationships. So, because of these limitations, normally we are not using propositional logic, we are going for first order predicate logic. Thank you.